Hi, I'm Henry Balmer. Welcome to QUTV News. QUTV brings you some beautiful visuals from an annual balloon glow and a front row seat to the fall choral concert.
And I'm Tyler Menendez. The KU community experienced a recent shooting incident at an off-campus house. That's where we begin today. An off-campus shooting held KU students in their dorms for a short time on October 9th. That Friday night, two individuals approached a party in the yard of an off-campus house. This house is located at the 18th and College Street corner known as the Baseball House. A male individual pulled out a gun and fired several shots into the air when he was asked to leave. No one was injured and both individuals fled the scene. QU initially advised students to stay in their dorms so they wouldn't try to go to the scene. According to a statement from the department, witness reported a man fired a handgun several times in the area before leaving the scene in a white pickup truck. Both individuals who were involved have been arrested. Organizations in Quincy got a lot accomplished on October 2nd. That's because QU held its 9th annual Day of Service. Day of Service allows QU students to practice Franciscan values. Their service to the community is one way they do that. Students, faculty, and staff arrived early in the HFC to gather in their assigned groups. QUTV's Kai Grover tells us what projects students did on Day of Service.
Hard.
The sound of chopping apples was crisp as the QU women's volleyball team helped a local food pantry. For some of the girls, this was their first experience with volunteering.
I'm a freshman, so this is my first time doing Day of Service. But honestly, I was actually kind of excited for it because it's kind of like team bonding and then I get to help people too.
Besides helping with the food pantry, QU students planted tulips, pulled weeds, power washed garbage cans, and hosted a free car wash. Not only are students out in the community helping, but they're also here at QU washing cars and saving money. The car wash raised over $600 in cash donations for QU's St. Clair Center. Services like the car wash help students recognize what the Day of Service means to them.
Day of Service means getting to spend quality time with my team while also being out in the community and helping out.
Over 900 QU students participated at 37 different locations across the city of Quincy, resulting in a total of 3,836 hours served for this year's Day of Service. Kai Grover, QUTV, Quincy.
QU students looking for additional service hours can contact Sarah Phillips or use the Mobile Serve app.
There is a class at Quincy University that all students must take to graduate. It's called the Bonaventure Program, where you turn in past assignments and essays. The Bonaventure Program is required for all QU seniors to take. Seniors must turn in old assignments and essays that they have done over the years at Quincy, but some students have trouble trying to find their past work.
With a Bonaventure portfolio, it'd be nice if people would tell us what we needed to do for sure throughout our 4 years. You know, I'm a senior and I don't even remember if I did it or know if I did it. Or we could keep a folder for papers that we've done. It'd be nice if there was a little organization with it.
Seniors believe that the program should be talked about more so they can better prepare for it and be more organized. Better organization for the program will allow seniors to post their best assignments and not just ones they could find. QU singers performed a fall choral concert on Sunday, October 6th. This concert was held at the Connie Neiman Center for Music Performance. 25 students performed at the concert. The event debuted the Hawks of Harmony. This group is the a cappella group from previous years. The concert also included the chamber and concert choirs. All three groups are directed by Jonathan Stewart. Upcoming performances include the QU Express Jazz Band on October 20th and the QU Music Major recital on October 27th. Both events will also take place in the Connie Neiman Center.
The annual homecoming events were a hit last week, I heard.
If you missed the balloon glow or parade, stick around. We'll have some overview of the homecoming events after this.
Let us design a success plan for you.
Discover the opportunity to pursue your degree with Quincy University's Illinois Tuition Promise program. If you're eligible, you'll receive 100% coverage of tuition and books, making college affordable. We'll design a success plan just for you.
Welcome back. QU SAC and women's soccer hosted a blackout game on September 20th. This event attempted to drive up student involvement at sporting events, but struggled to do so. The stands were somewhat empty for the game. The game was against the University of Indianapolis. The Greyhounds took the field in all black jerseys. The idea of a blackout game is when the cheering section wears all black, so it looked like the QU cheering section was supporting the Greyhounds. UND ended up beating the Hawks 4-0 for the blackout event. Turning now to homecoming news, QU started off homecoming with the annual Powder Puff game. Powder Puff is a flag football game where underclassmen women play upperclassmen women. This is the first time the underclassmen defeated the upperclassmen. Both teams were coached by QU football players. The women played hard at times. The game got physical, but the friendly competition between the teams made for an entertaining game. The underclassmen really shocked everybody with the underdog win. The Powder Puff game is always a hit for students who play and who watch. QU introduced 2 new events for homecoming this year. On Friday, September 27th, QU invited students and alumni to a party at Penny Lane. There was also a homecoming bonfire the same night. At the party on Penny Lane, attendees could play cornhole or listen to live music performed by Presley Briella. Local restaurant called The Butcher's Block provided food, cheeseburgers, and cheddar bratwurst were popular items. Both students and alumni enjoyed the festivities with a beautiful sunset to go with it. Students also gathered at the fireplace behind the Student Living Center for a bonfire. Students spent time catching up with friends and creating s'mores. QU hopes that both events can become reoccurring events every year.
The QU Homecoming Parade had a great turnout. The annual tradition gathered families from around Quincy to cheer on the athletic teams. At the Homecoming Parade, athletes got to meet and see how large all the sports teams are. The parade route started at the Willard Dorm and circled A Field. The athletic teams were driving their own golf carts and had the athletes had decorated their carts with balloons and signs. Homecoming Kings and Queens led the front carts.
I feel like the parade is a very important event because a lot of people in the community don't know about all the sports teams and organizations that we have here at Quincy University. And it's just a chance for them to see all the new faces and the new clubs that we have and inspire them to come out to our games and support us like we support them.
The QU band led the teams down the street while they gave life and energy to the parade. The cheer team was cheering and dancing at the parade. The athletes also made sure to throw candy to all the children who showed up. The night sky lit up with colorful hot air balloons for QU's annual Balloon Glow. Quincy residents and QU students and staff gathered on Friars Field to enjoy music, food, and the glow of the balloons. Families and friends were able to walk up to the balloons throughout the night. The balloon glow went on for hours, lighting up Friars Field. The balloons were scheduled to take off Friday morning. Unfortunately, it was too windy for the balloons to take off. Many options for games and food were available for students and families. As the Midwest prepares for cooler weather, a historic natural disaster causes different types of preparation for people in the South.
Ryan Capps will have more on the weather after this.
I've really enjoyed this weather recently, guys. It's not too hot and not too cold.
This is the type of weather I can get used to. I just hope it stays here a while.
Yeah, I can tell you that we will have more cool days coming up. We'll have more on that in a minute. But first, Milton has dipped to a Category 4 hurricane as it heads for Florida. The storm is expected to remain a powerful 4 through Tuesday, according to the National Hurricane Center. Milton will likely weaken again before making landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast as a major Category 3 Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The dangerous eye wall could come ashore anywhere from Cedar Key in the north to Naples in the south. But Milton's disastrous impact could be felt over a much larger area as it continues to grow in size. Up to 15 inches of rain is possible across Florida through Thursday. Storm surge could reach 15 feet in parts through Tampa Bay. It has been less than 2 weeks since Hurricane Helen dropped Florida's Big Bend as a Category 4 storm, leaving at least 20 dead in the state. Officials are warning Milton's impact could be even more severe and far-reaching. Now let's take a closer look to home. So as you can see here, we are going to be on our fall break. But that's the main question here is if our fall for the season is going to be taking a little break here, as you know how the Midwest season likes to be. It likes to be up and down a little bit. But then that's going to be the big thing is wondering if we'll be able to enjoy it or not. You know, if it gets super cold or if it's going to be super hot, you might not be able to enjoy our little fall break that we'll have coming up. But then while this next week might be planned out, we don't know about the future as Milton has been making a big impact. We don't want to stay on that topic too much, but we don't know like how the hurricane weather could be sending up. Taking a look back at history here, we do have our averages. You know, that's kind of where we're sitting at this year for the temperatures. It's staying in that 70 to around the 44s, but the record, as you can see down there, was 90 today for the history. That's just not something that you want to deal with. That's a little bit too hot, especially for me personally. But that record cool there of a 30, that's still a little bit too cold, especially this early in the fall season. You kind of want to keep it a little bit warmer there, more in the 70s is what I like to deal with. But today, that's exactly what we're going to be sitting at with a temperature of 71, and you can see it's going to be sunny. But right down here, you want to see the temperature, the winds coming in at about 5 miles per hour. That's where it's going to kind of stay at, obviously coming from the south because of that hurricane that we mentioned earlier. But it's going to be sticking around the 70s. And as we move into the night, it's going to drop down just a little bit into the 60s, continuing just a little bit of winds, nothing that you really have to deal with, but 60s is where it's going to be kind of living there. So you can have a nice chill night and it's going to be comfortable. Thursdays, the high is going to be 81, which is it's going to get into that 80s area around 3 o'clock, so you might want to plan out for that. It's going to be a little bit cooler in the morning, more in like the 60s. So if you want to bring a jacket out for the mornings, and you'll be able to take it off as it's going to get a little bit in the 70s, into the 80s as it moves throughout the day. Now working into our weekend forecast. Of course, we're going to be on fall break, so you're going to be able to enjoy the weekend here no matter what, but we're going to have a high of 87, so that's going to be nice to deal with. It's going to be a little bit warmer than what we're used to, especially right now with the averages being in the 70s and what we're kind of used to being in the 70s. It's going to be a little bit hotter. You might want to plan out for that that can catch you off guard a little bit. But moving into the evening, it's going to drop down quite a bit, going around that 59 to 60s area. So you're going to want to have to plan out for that. Maybe bring a jacket if you're going out, which I'm sure a lot of people will be, especially it being our fall break. And then moving on to Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful day of 78 with a little bit clouds in the air, but it's still going to be pretty sunny. So it's going to feel really good, especially with a little bit of winds. Now on to our 7-day forecast. I'll step out of the shot here so you can get a clear view of that. But the main thing to look at is that Thursday through Saturday is going to be around the 80s for the highs, and the lows are going to be kind of where we're used to in the 50s to 60s. But what you're really going to want to look to is the beginning of next week, where it's going to get around to those 50s, the upper 50s, which you want to make note of as it's going to be a little bit cooler. And then those lows is what you're really going to want to look to for Tuesday and Wednesday, as you have 41 and 36. You might want to really have to bundle up for that. And that's what we have in store for your forecast.
Q had many teams on the road this week looking to bring home a win.
And I heard the football team came home with a top hat.
That's right. Tony will give us an insight on that and more to come.
Hello, and welcome to QUTV Sports. I'm Tony Lundy. It was a busy week for the QU Athletics with various teams traveling all over the Midwest. One team remained in Quincy with Sprint Football taking care of business, keeping the rock nice and warm. But first, men's and women's soccer loaded the buses for a trip to Missouri. The Lady Hawks took on William Jewell in a back-and-forth matchup. William Jewell scored with 3 minutes left in the first half to take the lead. The Hawks would capitalize with a Regan Hess goal to even out the score. Less than 10 minutes from that, William Jewell scored again by an unassisted goal from Lux Sands. With momentum shifting towards the Cardinals, a corner kick pass turned into a Deshae Johnson bicycle kick goal. And suddenly, the Hawks have life. That life was short-lived as Lux Sands connected with the net again to give them a 3-2 lead with only 8 minutes left in the game. The Cardinals would go on to defeat the Hawks 3-2. Some key performers include the 2 goal scorers for the Hawks with Regan Hess and Deshae Johnson. For the Cardinals, Lux Sands puts the team on her back, scoring 2 goals and taking home the 3-2 win. The Lady Hawks then went on to play the Truman Bulldogs. The Bulldogs did not play nice with the Hawks as they dominated in the game. Even with the Hawks out-shooting their opponents, they did not place the ball like the Bulldogs as they were shut out. The Bulldogs put up 2 goals in the first half by Leah Quintero and Melanie Smith. Quintero scored again in the second half, which was all she wrote as the Bulldogs won the game 3-0. The Lady Hawks walked out with a 1-6-2 record. Men's soccer faced the same opponents as the women's team. Just like the women's team, the men split their games, but reversed as they lost to William Jewell but beat Truman. In the William Jewell game, the Cardinals made quick work of the Hawks as they scored 3 goals in the first half within a 5-minute span. No other goals were made in the first half, and in the second half, the Hawks scored 6 minutes in with a Gavin Higgins goal. The Cardinals would answer with their own goal to take a 4-1 win over the Hawks. That game must have left a sour taste in their mouth because they took it out on the Bulldogs, with Gavin Higgins finding himself to score again early on in the game. That was assisted by Leo Can, and Can must have wanted to score himself because not even a minute later, he scored a goal himself to put the Hawks up 2-0. The rest of the game was no scoring, giving the Hawks a 2-0 win. Some notable performances was Gavin Higgins providing the initial goal. Leo Can was the man to assist that goal, but provided one of his own. The third player is the goalie, George Roque, who let nothing get past him, having 4 saves. The Hawks moved to 3-5-1 on the season, looking to keep the ball rolling Friday against Southwest Baptist. Speaking of rolling, men and women's bowling competed in the Midwest Collegiate in Wauwatosa. The men's team struggled to find their consistency as their leading bowlers were Caden Witt, scoring a 996 series for a 199.2 average on the day. Connor Megan scored a 987, averaging 197.4, and freshman Nathan Massey shot 975, averaging 195 for the day. The team unfortunately did not compete much as they finished 33 out of 53 schools that bowled. As for the Lady Hawks, the same could be said for them. The leading scorer, Hannah Herdklotz, averaged 196.4 on the day, finishing in 29th individually. Hayden Bennett bowled an 867 series, leaving her at a 176.4 average. The women would fall to 39 out of 42 teams present. Both teams will be traveling to Wichita in 2 weeks to regroup for the Mid-States Championships. A team that had the opportunity to regroup and capitalize this week was the football team. Quincy took a tough homecoming loss against Upper Iowa, and with a chance to reestablish their spot at the top of the GLVC, Quincy took a trip to take on McKendree. Quincy University has some new hardware. Saturday was the battle for the land of Lincoln as QU and McKendree took the field. Quincy dominated the Bearcats as they never trailed and always had a comfortable lead. This victory brought Lincoln's top hat to the Rock. The next test will be the University of Indianapolis. UIndy has been at the top of the conference, but Quincy will be trying to change that.
You know, and the big thing is you can't just get hung up on what we did last year. It's a brand new year, different guys. You know, the hungry mindset still has to be taken week in and week out.
The game will be played on Saturday at the University of Indianapolis. Live stream will be available on the GLVC Sports Network. Staying on the topic of football, the Hawks sprint football team was in action against the Walsh University Cavaliers. In the first quarter, both defenses held the other's offense to 0. That was until 46 seconds into the second quarter when C.J. Jackson ran his way into the end zone for a 3-yard touchdown run. With only 14 seconds left in the half, Jackson would add another score to his name, but the fun did not end for him as he received a 21-yard touchdown pass from Deuce Alloway to give himself a hat trick on the day. The Hawks defense also performed well, holding the Walsh offense to 19 points. Not only that, but the defense did indulge in the scoring with linebacker Roland Armes getting himself a pick 6. Also, Deuce Alloway went 11 for 27 for 144 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Hawks would go on to win 35-19, earning the Hawks their first win of the year. Speaking of athletes that dominated this weekend, Emma Weinenbergen stays hot as the women's volleyball team remains undefeated on the road. The Hawks traveled to Upper Iowa for a GLVC match. The Peacocks gave Quincy a run for their money early on. They would win the first 2 sets, 25-20 and 25-23. A fire was lit under the Hawks as they rallied back the next 2 sets, winning 25-18 and 25-13. In the fifth set, the Hawks were relentless, winning 15-8. Notable Hawks for the game were Emma Weinenbergen with 26 kills and scoring 27.5 points for the Hawks. Other key factors were Susanna Beretti, who accounted for 16 kills and 20 points to her name. The Peacock Zoe Semmelroth carried the team with 24 kills and 26 points, but fell short in the end. The women then carried on to face Truman in what would be another close matchup. When I tell you this game was back and forth, it was Quincy set 1, Truman set 2, and repeating. Good thing Quincy won the first set because that means that they were destined to win that last set. Every set was decided by less than 6 points except for the first one. Quincy was led by Emma Weinenbergen again, racking up 28 kills, and Susanna Beretti with 20 herself. Elena Kasavica managed to be a facilitator for the team, managing 53 assists, all while managing to hold down the fort on defense with team leading 4 blocks. The Bulldogs did not go quiet as Michaela Goad had 15 kills with 18.5 points to lead the Bulldogs in a tough loss. With many students out of town due to athletics, fans may have been lost on what they should do with their weekend. Quincy is home to a couple recreational parks. Bob Mays, being one of them, hosts many different activities. One thing the park is known for is disc golf. I had the chance to join a few students at Bob Mays Park for a round.
Bob Mays Park is a park made for many activities like running, soccer, and disc golf. Disc golf started in 2015 at Bob Mays and holds value to the park district. Disc golf is similar to regular golf, but instead of clubs, you have discs. There are tee boxes to start at, and they provide a path to the basket. Disc golf started as a fun hobby, but has quickly turned into a competitive sport.
It's something that you can get out and go play with your friends in a competitive spirit, and it's not something you have to be good at to have fun.
Disc golf is not easy. The discs are used to play a factor in competition, as some are used for long range, medium range, and some are for putting. The goal at the end of the hole is to make the disc into the basket.
Disc golf brings a balance of competition and family fun, and you can do this with anybody, whether it's your friends, family, teammates, or even coaches. So, show me 1 second.
Go ahead. A disc golf course being at a recreational park gives a chance for people to blow off steam and do some different stuff that wouldn't normally be at a park, and it gives people a chance to experience a new sport.
Bob Mays is open for everyone to try out the disc golf course. Winter is approaching, so the course should be available for a few more weeks until it opens back up in the spring.
That's all we had for sports this week. Thank you for watching QUTV Sports. I'm Tony Lundy.
Thank you for the sports update, Tony. There's a lot going on during homecoming week events. There's one we haven't told you about yet.
Find out why you probably shouldn't leave your car parked near the calf. More on that coming up after the break.
Homecoming week was full of fun activities. There was one unique event on campus. Quincy University hosted a car smash during Quincy's homecoming week outside the CAF. Students could pay $5 for a turn to hit a car with sledgehammers or a baseball bat for 15 seconds. The event was to help get students pumped for homecoming and to help the organization be able to do more events like this. Students released stress by taking demolition swing at the car.
I thought that looked pretty fun. I kind of wish I was able to be a part of it. Did you guys get to do it?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to be a part of it either, but I would have liked to take out some anger on that car.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fun. But thank you for watching QUTV News. For more stories, follow us on social media and check out qmedia.net. Have a great day.